Good morning and welcome to Wednesday's Ireland AM.
Yes, you're very welcome along to the show. It is the 28th of June and we certainly have a mixed bag on the show this morning. Here is what's coming up.
Unsurprisingly, as the Donnybrook drama continues to unfold, we'll have the latest on the RTÉ Pay scandal, from the broadcaster's 9-page statement to employee protests at their Dublin, Cork and Limerick offices. That'll be coming up shortly, and of course we're asking you what you make of it all, what you think of it, do you care, what do you want to see happen? 0896 111 111.
I think it is the first time since COVID I've seen every paper dominated with the same story this morning. So yes, we would love to get your take on it and your take on the statement by RTÉ yesterday. We're going to be discussing
Only one person knew anything. What are you talking about?
Anyway.
One person.
Plus, she's a comedian spreading an important message about disability awareness. Saoirse Smith tells us about the barriers she faces around the country as a wheelchair-using comedian.
And also, we'll be speaking to the outspoken Loose Women panellist who is taking her no-nonsense opinions to the podcast world. Denise Welch, right there behind you, going to be joining us for a chat a little bit later on.
Alan, what else have we got this morning?
Looking forward to that. Denise is great. And we're also going to get fruity in the kitchen this morning with a lovely sweet surprise. And we're keeping it casual on the catwalk with comfortable styles for the summer months, just like what Mirren's wearing this morning. Look at that. Is that comfortable summer style wearing?
That's elasticated. I mean, you can't get. We're having a bit of cheesecake later on, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Our Fitzbo Derek is going to be exercising in Edenderry a little bit later on this morning. Derek, what have you got planned?
Yes, well, I'll have my gym gear on later on, but welcome down here to County Offaly. Now, it's a pretty wet start out there this morning, especially through Galway, Mayo, parts of Kerry at the moment. Plenty of showers scraping around the islands out there this Wednesday as well, but it is brightening up. It will improve later on. But as you mentioned, guys, we're down here in the beautiful town of Edenderry. The place is so well kept, I have to say. We're heading out the road to Skullbreed. That's the primary school here in the town itself, because we're taking part in Schools Active Week. So basically, it's sports day later on today. So I'm wondering, guys, what was your favourite sport? I was a big fan of the egg and spoon. What did you guys love?
Surprise, surprise. I love the three-legged race.
Always fun. Do you take part in parent sports day now?
No, no, it's too competitive. Don't want to. My days of competition are gone.
Do parents do it?
Good luck, Derek, with your school sports day today. Go easy on the kids, please.
Cool, guys.
Yeah.
Same size as them.
I'll do my best. I'm very competitive.
Himself and a 4-year-old running down the three-legged race.
Chat later, Derek. Right, we will, of course, go over to see him very shortly. Now over to you, Anne O'Donnell.
Thanks, Tommy. Good morning. Well, it's all eyes on senior RTÉ executives this afternoon as they appear at the Oireachtas Media Committee to answer questions about secret payments to presenter Ryan Tubridy. Well, in a statement yesterday, the state broadcaster said only the former Director General could have known the published pay figures were incorrect.
6 days after the payment scandal at RTÉ first emerged, politicians will finally get to question representatives of the state broadcaster. Members of the RTÉ board and executive will be grilled about the secret payments to Ryan Tubridy, how they came about and who knew what and when. The former Director General of RTÉ, Dee Forbes, is not attending today's hearing due to ill health. The controversy has caused outrage among RTÉ staff and the general public about the breach of trust and lack of transparency. Yesterday, in a statement, RTÉ said no member of the executive board other than the Director General had all the necessary information in order to understand that the publicly declared figures for Ryan Tubridy could have been wrong. Today, it's hoped more details about the transactions will be revealed, but Dee Forbes' absence at that hearing is likely to make the task more difficult. Trish Laverty, Virgin Media News.
Well, actor Kevin Spacey is due to go on trial in London today for alleged sexual offences against 4 men. The 2-time Academy Award winner faces 12 charges, including indecent and sexual assault between 2001 and 2013. The 63-year-old has pleaded not guilty to the charges. Well, the Belarusian leader has said he has welcomed the exiled Wagner chief, Yevgeny Prigozhin, to Belarus 3 days after his mercenary fighters attempted mutiny in Russia. However, Mr. Prigozhin has not been seen publicly since he was filmed leaving southern Russia. Well, Ukraine believes he is just one of the first to challenge the Russian President Vladimir Putin in Russia.
For us, it has always been pretty obvious that it's just a matter of time when someone in Russia will dare to challenge Putin, because we saw how his power and authority is shrinking and how Russia is entering very difficult turbulence. So Prigozhin is just the first one who dared, but I have no doubts that others will follow one way or another.
To the US now, where the former President Donald Trump and his top Republican challenger for the White House, Ron DeSantis, have been campaigning in New Hampshire. Mr DeSantis topped the polls there at the beginning of the year. That lead has since been flipped, and now Mr Trump is ahead in the first Republican primary state by double digits. Well, it comes as comments from the Republican House Speaker, Kevin McCarthy, has sparked outrage amongst Trump allies after he refused to say if Mr Trump was the strongest candidate for the party to nominate next year.
Can Trump beat Biden? Yes, he can beat Biden.
It makes it complicated if he's got all these trials and all this stuff overhanging.
It makes it complicated. It also helps him. The question is he the strongest to win the election? I don't know that answer.
And back home, disability discrimination is the top equality concern among members of the public at 42%. That's according to the annual report of the Irish Human Rights and Equality Commission. Over 1,400 queries were handled by the Commission last year, including issues relating to race, gender and age. The Commission brought forward new research on the discrimination HAP tenants face in accessing rental accommodation.
We compare 14 insurance quotes to get you the best deal. So choose chill and work smarter, not harder.
Thank you, Ger, and a very good morning. We're coming to you live here from the beautiful town of Edenderry here in County Offaly. We're going to be heading out the road, in fact, to Skullbreda later on this morning to take part in their school sports day. So lots of fun coming your way over the coming years in the run-up to the summer holidays. Anyway, if you're opening back the curtains on your Wednesday morning, it is the 28th of June, and boy, is it bucketing down through parts of the west and the north out there this morning. Plenty of heavy rain now hitting counties Galway into Mayo, parts of Donegal, Sligo, Leitrim, Roscommon and into County Longford, and through the southwest, in fact, parts of Kerry, in across West Limerick and North Cork, through Drumculliher and into Kanturk, not escaping either, so rain gear at the ready there. That rain just about tipping into parts of the Midlands, holding dry the further east and southeast we go in that light westerly airflow. Now, right across today, that system of rain, and it will be heavy at times, will push eastwards across the island. So we're talking around early afternoon, it will feed out into the Irish Sea, and in fact an improving picture pulling in through parts of the west with a return to drier, brighter and sunnier weather out there today. Top valleys in and around 16 to 22 degrees. And finally then tonight, it looks like mainly dry and settled for a time. Elsewhere we're going to see a couple of hit and miss showers scraping around, bringing us through into tomorrow morning with that mixture of sunshine and showers on the cards to take us right across your Thursday, with overnight lows there back to 11 to 14 degrees. So that's how it's shaping up for now, just about holding settled here in Edenderry and County Offaly, and we'll be back again live at 7:35.
Chill Insurance work harder so you can work smarter. We compare 14 quotes to get you the best deal.
It's time now to take a look at this morning's papers, with one story dominating today, starting with the Examiner's headline: Furious RTÉ staff demand reforms. Large-scale protests of RTÉ workers took place yesterday in a number of locations, including Cork, Limerick and Dublin, with staff calling for answers amid spiralling controversy at the public service broadcaster.
The Irish Times goes with that same story. Their headline: RTÉ fails to quell political disquiet over RTÉ Pay controversy. Politicians have reacted negatively to the broadcaster's latest statement on the pay issue, as well as the refusal by former Director General Dee Forbes to appear at Leinster House.
The Herald's front page: RTÉ no evil. RTÉ bosses yesterday failed to take the heat out of the Ryan Tubridy payment scandal, with a statement pointing most of the blame at ex-Director General Dee Forbes.
Pointing the finger at Forbes won't wash is the top story on the Daily Mail. The state broadcaster's executives have been warned that answers will be expected despite the absence of Dee Forbes.
The Mirror also covers this story with thrown under Dee bus. The national broadcaster says Dee Forbes was the only member of its executive board who knew the top presenter's published salary was wrong.
The Sun also leads with Dee only one who knew.
The Star similarly leads with "Pull the Other One."
And the Irish Independent goes with RTÉ chiefs caved in repeatedly to Tubridy demands. RTÉ's statement shows the broadcaster repeatedly caved in to pay demands from Tubridy's agent, which was met with astonishment in political circles.
And it's in all the papers. We are going to be talking about that next. The latest on the RTÉ story is coming up after the break.
Absolutely. Get in touch with us. We would love to get your take on it as well. Read out your messages throughout the show. 0896 111 111. We'll be back in a few minutes.
Welcome back. Now, RTÉ released a 9-page statement yesterday evening addressing the scandal surrounding Ryan Tubridy's pay deal. This is a story that has been dominating the news since last week. They released that statement. They said they were going to do it at 3 o'clock. They got it out to us 1 minute before Virgin Media went to air, 5:29.
Here
Andy.
with an update on the latest political reporter Jack Horgan Jones and communications consultant Orlaith Carmody. Sorry, apologies. Good morning to you both.
Good morning.
Jack, as Maureen just said, the statement was meant to be released at 3 o'clock. Yeah. It was pushed back a number of hours. What did it say? And I think more importantly, what did it not say?
It's never a good sign, is it, when things start to get pushed back? And really what the statement was supposed to do, or what the hope for the statement was that it would begin to put a bit of a floor under the controversy. I was talking to people across government yesterday, and the hope and the expectation was that there would be some sort of a collective mea culpa. You know, we got this wrong as an executive board, as a corporate board or whatever. And really what came out was more detail that didn't get all the way to the core of some very important questions, including why the obfuscation occurred, why there was a difference between the published figure and the actual figure, but also concluded with this fairly extraordinary Section 5, which is labelled responsibility, but more appropriately could be labelled shirking responsibility, because there is a long list of people in there, senior executives in RTÉ, every single one of whom seems to be given the chance to identify why they didn't know the full picture. Meanwhile, the finger of blame is very much squarely pointed at Dee Forbes, the DG. It states quite explicitly that she was the only person who could have known that, and that, to be honest, lacks a bit of credibility, is the view of the political system. Senior people across government I was talking to yesterday just said, look, you know, we don't believe that Dee Forbes doesn't have a potential case to answer here, but what we find hard to believe is that the entirety of it effectively lands at her doorstep. So I think that the chance to put a floor under this controversy, to mark the beginning of the end, or at least the end of the beginning, has been squandered, and I think that there will be massive pressure on anyone and everyone, particularly those who are named in this report, as they come before our Oireachtas committees today, tomorrow and in the future, to clarify exactly what they did. And I think that people are still looking for that collective sense of responsibility from RTÉ and the Executive Board. So
you're saying, we've seen it today, you know, thrown under the bus. Like, Orla, you are a communications consultant, you have worked externally with RTÉ before. They are a communications company. How do you feel they have done with this statement?
Not well, clearly. As Jack said, it could have been an opportunity to put a floor under it. It didn't close any doors. It opened so many more, this statement. It is very inadequate, in fact.
Very convenient,
It's convenient, and it's actually contradictory in places. And to say that Dee was solely responsible, Dee Forbes, that is beyond belief. I mean, the Director General role, because it is a very nuanced, very political role, it is the Chief Executive, it's the Finance Officer under the Broadcasting Act, it is also the Editor-in-Chief. It is such an unusual role that they never work in isolation. They have 2 or 3 people on the Executive Board who would be very close confidants, sounding boards, people to run ideas past. There is just not a chance that a Director General can work in isolation. It's too big and complex a role to do that. So they don't work in that regard. So to say that the executives were not aware, and then we read in Dee Forbes' own statement that she worked for a number of months, there was this executive, that executive involved, and then even in the RTÉ's statement, there are a number of people involved. People signed the contract, the legal people were all over it. Who was not involved in it? You know, and this was obviously, you know, the hottest topic. When you think of an executive board who work very closely together, who meet weekly, can you imagine this as being the hot topic, as in, how are the negotiations going? Is it over the line yet? Have we got Ryan tied down?
Yeah.
You know, it's human nature that would be a conversation. So I find it really hard to believe.
Why are there even negotiations? Why are they bowing down to these demands when the extortionate money that he's been paid realistically can't be matched, certainly here in Ireland? And the big thing with, you always hear from RTÉ is truth matters, and that's what we've heard from a lot of their journalists.
Yeah.
But this doesn't look like we're getting the whole truth here, Jack. And whenever they turn up to the Oireachtas today for that media meeting, like, will they be pushed, or can they have they kind of circle the wagons here now to just say, nothing to do with me?
I think they will be pushed. I think it's unavoidable. We don't actually know who's going to the Oireachtas committee today beyond the chair of the board, Sinead Bradbury, and Adrian Lynch, who has effectively taken up Dee Forbes' role. He's the acting Director General. But I think that we should expect to see people who can answer questions, and some of the people who are named within this report. I think it's an interesting point you make about the emphasis that RTÉ put on truth matters, and the divide that has emerged between RTÉ editorially, and we've seen the station do a very good job, I think, of covering this scandal from its news and current affairs division, and also we've seen those very same journalists come out and protest, and that's been an extraordinary vista really for people to encounter. You know, household names that they'd be familiar with from the 6-1 and the 9 o'clock news out in front of Montrose protesting and giving speeches. Meanwhile, inside the executive board are kind of in the bunker crafting up this statement, you know, and I think that division, I think, is really important, and I think that it really kind of crystallises the challenge that's facing the broadcaster at the moment. And I think that, you know, the pressure is not going to go anywhere. It's going to be heaped on because they have effectively fluffed their lines with this statement.
I think you point out something really interesting there, and it has RTÉ lost its way in terms of this top 10 talent, which in some ways is offensive. And when you saw the anger in the RTÉ newsroom, I've never seen anger like that in a protest outside RTÉ before, and rightly so. They're the journeymen, the everyday people who do the work. I was one of those journeymen many years ago myself in the newsroom. And to think that there's talent negotiating deals separately, or indeed to think that an agent has that power that agent seems to have had. And not only that a side deal was constructed, but that then RTÉ underwrote that side deal. Now, in the statement, they've said that Dee Forbes made that decision in a Zoom or whatever it might have been, and maybe people were dismayed. But they said there was pushback against that. There was a lot of resistance within RTÉ. Here's the statement, and it says this aspect, there were representatives of the agent and the RTÉ and the solicitor were there, and there was significant pushback by RTÉ. So who pushed back? If all these people didn't know about it, how did they push back?
Well, listen, we spoke about the journalists and their protest yesterday. We do have a small clip of Emma O'Kelly, an NUJ member, speaking at that protest. Let's take a look.
Constantly told there's no money, people can't get crews. You know, we're looking for a Dublin correspondent now for I don't know how long. That position hasn't been filled. There are remote controls in the newsroom that don't work. Women who went on maternity leave and got no maternity pay, even though they were colleagues working day in, day out, rostered on shifts just like me, who had no pension entitlements and no sick pay. We had pay restraint. We had a second attempt to cut our pay. We were told RTÉ was in existential crisis and there was no money. And all the time, now we discover that these secret payments were being made on top of what we all regard already as a totally exorbitant salary.
There we have it. I mean, that just gives the different levels of what we're seeing in RTÉ. And even from the executives, like, everybody talks about the top 10 presenters. Like, should we be getting a disclosure of these executive salaries?
Definitely, we should be.
Is that something that's been fought against for the last few years? Because we get 10 people's salaries.
Yes.
A lot of people work in RTÉ.
Yeah. Well, what we would all like to know is, what are those executives, what salaries are they on? And did they also take the 15% cutback? Don't forget, there is the separation between the external board and the executive board. The external board waived their fees in 2019 and 20 as part of this rearrangement that was going on in RTÉ. So we'd like
You've been a member of that before.
I've been previously a member of that board, and it's very much an external board. You do 2-3 days a month. You are only as good as the information basically you are presented by the executive. Your role as an external board member is to question the assumptions, to ask lots of questions, and you do, but you can only question
on
what is
they're
on the
offering.
table.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But can we go, Jack, to the person who is at the centre of this, and there's a few. There's obviously who was dealing with this, the agent involved, and we should say I have an agent, by the way, just to let people know that. And then, not Noel Kelly, but then there is Ryan Tubridy himself. And it says in this 9-page statement yesterday that he had no idea that he's not culpable in this commercial arrangement. He didn't know. And if you think of it from an influencer's world, he didn't know it was underwritten. That's what it says in this statement. Ryan Tubridy didn't know. That they kind of went to him, come here to me, we've got Renault. They want to give you 75 grand a year to show up and shake babies' hands. If you look at the kind of influencer world, that kind of happens. Does this statement kind of free him from that obligation now, kind of going, well, he didn't know it was underwritten by the taxpayers, by RTÉ itself. He thought he was getting this money from a commercial entity.
Yes and no. I mean, in some ways, like, it does back up what he was saying in his first statement that went down very poorly, you know, that he was kind of as surprised as everyone else, and that this is ultimately a matter for RTÉ and how they present their accounts, which in a narrow sense is true, but in a much broader sense, I mean, it's very difficult to get away from the fact that, like, you know, in the first instance, Noel Kelly, his agent, is empowered to act on his behalf. You know, it is not necessarily the case that you can just then step away from any engagements or any undertakings or ultimately legally binding agreements which are entered into by your agent on your behalf. You can't just wash your hands from it. You still have a responsibility to yourself to inform yourself about those negotiations. And secondly, as he has already apologised for it, there was this difference, this distance between what he knew he was getting and the fact that that was the product, that what he was receiving in a fee was the product of an arrangement, a contract that was struck on his behalf, and what was published. You know, he still tolerated that, you know, and that, I think, is what people will find very difficult to get over, and what I think has fractured that relationship of trust between himself and, you know, seemingly his colleagues in a very meaningful way, but also his audience.
And also, you've seen the positive response. I think everybody's a bit shocked at the salaries that are coming out from a lot of the RTÉ. So when Claire Byrne came out and said, this is what I was paid, this is exactly what it was for, if he was to come out and say now and be totally transparent with it, would that make a difference for him?
Who knows, in that there's so much damage done. I would have said earlier this week, yes, perhaps, but when you see that anger that we've just seen there, I don't know. I can't conceive personally of any mechanism by which Ryan Tubridy could go back. But maybe I'm not as imaginative as some of the executives who come up with creative solutions. I just can't see myself how you could actually find a mechanism to allow him to come back. Talented as he is, and obviously Grant Thornton have said there was no wrongdoing on his part, but of course there's questions around, again, human nature. You can imagine a scenario, and this is just conjecture, but an agent coming out of that deal and he's walking across the car park in RTÉ, what does he do? He rings the client and says, I've got you this deal. And, you know, however he described or termed the deal, the fact that it was underwritten by RTÉ is the big mistake here. How could they possibly think that was okay? How could they possibly think that a barter account placed in the UK, which is not even in the EU, is actually somehow serving a public broadcaster?
We'd love to know what you think on this. You know, we work within this industry. Is it something that you're chatting with your friends about, and what you make of it all? 0896 111 111. Jack Horgan Jones, you're staying with us. We'll be chatting more news in just a little while. And Orlaith Carmody, a communications consultant, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Welcome back. Now, with recent flooding in Italy and ongoing wildfires in Canada, it's hard not to notice the growing effects of climate change. And with it being holiday season, it's important to be conscious of the impact our air miles have on the environment. But of course, we're not wagging the finger about going on holidays. We get it. Fly away, my friends. You have them booked?
Sure you do too. Here to discuss this is Assistant Professor in Geography at Dublin City University, Darren Clarke, and travel commentator Eoghan Corry. Good to have you both with us this morning. Well, listen, we'll start with you, Darren. I mean, we are seeing wildfires. We are seeing major flooding. We know that the temperature is rising here in Ireland, probably more than a lot of the other EU countries. But we're all booking our holidays. So, like, what impact does travel, and flights in particular, have on the climate?
Quite a significant impact. When we talk about transport more generally, transport emissions or greenhouse gas emissions are about 20% of our national emissions. Aviation within that is roughly 11% of our transport emissions. So a significant contributor to climate change. It's second only to road transport. So a significant contributing factor to climate change.
Yeah, we like to sit here and say, it's the cows, it's the cows. It's not just that. And Ireland we are kind of the outlier in Europe. Our emissions are going up whilst an awful lot of emissions, greenhouse gas emissions in Europe are going down. But people will kind of be going, well, we developed a lot later than European countries. Can we take the hit? No, we're pretty bad, aren't we? Per person?
Per person, we're one of the worst in Europe. So we have the highest greenhouse gas emissions per person in Europe. And that line of the previous line that we could say we're late developing as a country might have worked in the past, but we're a developed country now. We have huge responsibilities and we should be taking action much greater than we are.
Eoghan, this is an interesting one. So John Gibbons, environmental campaigner, suggested that we introduce flight quotas attached to our PPS numbers and that people are charged a levy if they overgo their quota. I mean, are we really getting to that stage?
Look at Owen's face. He's like, no.
Yeah, it's just a personal opinion by somebody. The reality is that we are a peripheral country that anything to curtail our connectivity is going to have a very dramatic effect on our economy. Just back on the figures for the emissions, our aviation, the overall aviation emissions, about 2% worldwide. The reason Ireland has such a high per head contribution is that one of our airlines, which only has 4% of its business to and from the island, is happens to be the biggest in Europe by a margin of about 60 million passengers.
Yeah, Ryanair.
So Ryanair and Aer Lingus, there are two airlines. Let's cut to the chase here. Yeah. Within the aviation industry, this is a massive debate. They have decided to be hit net zero by 2050. 2050, a long way away. They've set a series of targets on the way. What is different about aviation and different about the sort of debate that the COP16 in Glasgow and COP17 in Sharm, which I went to see, what is different with when you have an industry like aviation engaging this subject is that it's not 200 countries, all with different opinions. As an industry, they've sat down and they've said, this is our target. It was a much lower target. It was a much less ambitious target until an Irishman took control of it, Willie Walsh. So that's what the aviation industry has set out to do. What the two Irish airlines have set out to do, put huge investment into lower emissions,
it's a
modern
bit
aircraft.
Ambitious, so really. Net zero by 2050?
It's going to be very hard to make it, but Tommy, but it does. What happens is that, you have the ambition, you have the likeness of mind among people, and there are people within the aviation circle that wouldn't be as enthusiastic about the whole climate debate. But the people who really understand it and get it, which includes, oddly enough, Michael O'Leary would be quite controversial character, but he's someone who is very sound on this issue. He's putting €22 billion into sustainability investment. And Eddie Wilson, the CEO of Ryanair, because Ryanair has divided up cycles, to swords. Yeah. So it's not... aviation knows its place in the debate that it's got, because it's two things. It's got 2% of the emissions are coming from aviation. Second of all, they're at, as Darren will concur, a very damaging height because the nature of aviation emissions is in the sky. But they know they have to tackle it. Now, what the commentator you just mentioned there would be saying is, curtail flights, start closing airports, start reducing the connectivity of Ireland. That would unduly punish Ireland, Tommy, and places like Portugal and Norway. The debate is different in Greece, in Germany and Netherlands and France.
Where they're all connected.
Because we are so dependent. We export everything we produce in Ireland.
For people who want to do this, are there ways to offset? Like we're seeing people come on there a while ago, flew to New York but planted a load of trees. Does that work?
Are there ways to offset? So actually, if we take it back a step...
You really haven't. I thought that was a good thing, actually, planted a few trees if you can.
It has its drawbacks. But more generally, if we're talking about a family, say a family of 2 adults and 2 children going to Malaga, for example, for a week's holidays this summer, it emits roughly the equivalent in greenhouse gas emissions of what it would take to heat and put electricity in a home for about 6 months. So that flight of 4 people going on holidays would roughly be the equivalent.
Well, that's
the whole flight.
The flight of 4 people, 2 adults and 2 children would be the equivalent of
so multiplied by what? couple of hundred that could be on the flight.
On a flight. So 6 months of heating a home for four people going on holidays. To bring it back to your question, though, Tommy, about whether it actually has an impact to offset. Airlines, and I know Eoghan would probably agree with me in this, airlines, there's no such really thing as flying sustainably. You can't really offset your emissions against planting trees, or there's no such thing as sustainable flying, no matter what airlines will try and tell you that there is. There might be in the future, but currently with our with the way we power airlines and what fuel is used, there really is no.
So those emissions credits. Remember, we were able to buy credits from other European countries who hadn't used all their emissions for factories years ago. There's ideas of countries doing that. It doesn't really make a difference because it is a global issue.
Absolutely, and offsetting, it doesn't really get to the crux of the problem, which is the climate problem, and we need to eliminate those emissions in the first place.
Okay.
It is, yeah, it's interesting.
Did he make you feel bad about your holidays this morning?
Well, we see Alan Hughes, who's just walked into the studio tutting and not very impressed with this because he's never off his holidays.
He's cutting trees down in his back garden. He doesn't care.
But I mean, listen, is this something that would actually make you think that you'd like to stay in the country as opposed...
Go to Monaghan. Let's go to Monaghan for our holidays.
You can't afford it. It's cheaper to go to Spain. Like, it's cheaper to go to Spain.
We look after you, Monaghan.
Oh, thanks. Okay.
6 1 1 Eoghan Corry, travel commentator. Great to have you with us, as always.
Always a pleasure, Tom.
Darren Clarke, assistant professor of geography at DCU. Thank you both.
Thanks so much for being here. We'll be with you very shortly on Ireland AM. Back with you. Now, are you ready for this? A recent audit has revealed, no, we're not talking about RTÉ. We're talking about septic tanks. Half of septic tanks tested nationwide last year failed inspection.
Oh, joining us now with that story and everything else this morning is Irish Times political reporter Jack Horgan Jones. Good morning to Jack.
Good morning
Thanks for staying with us.
No problem.
Yes, we're talking about septic tanks.
Yes, and I was shocked this morning to discover that there are 500,000 septic tanks in Ireland, and perhaps more pressingly, in an audit undertaken by the Environmental Protection Agency, half of them failed the audit.
Yeah.
Which is a fairly troubling statistic if you consider the fact that there are potentially 250,000 septic tank systems which aren't up to scratch, and that within that 250,000 there's another 20%, so whatever that is, 110,000 that are considered to be a hazard to human health or the environment.
So what does that mean if these aren't up to scratch? Like hundreds of thousands around the country. What does that mean for you or I?
Well, look, I think that the language in the report is more or less all you need to know. Faulty systems can contaminate household drinking water, wells, and pollute rivers. And we live in a time where obviously we've gone from a huge amount of kind of pristine water systems in Ireland to a lot of polluted water systems in Ireland. And some of that is down to industrial runoff and farming and all the rest of it, but some of it is obviously down to how we treat human waste and the adequacy or otherwise of the systems that have been put in place to treat human waste.
And there are grants. You can get up to €5,000 to help you. And I was... they've nearly given out over $1 million.
Yeah.
To actually help give people grants. Over $1 million.
In a year. So that's just in 2022. So yeah, more than 200 grants given out, up to €5,000, as you say, to help people kind of fix the faulty septic tank system. But it seems to be very much a kind of a carrot rather than a stick-based approach, you know. And I would be asking the question, particularly because there seems to be a lot of repeat offenders here. So 550 cases in this EPA report where issues notified to householders more than 2 years previously had still not been addressed. And that's notwithstanding the fact that, the state is offering you $5,000 or up to $5,000 to fix this.
To fix it.
If you are a repeat offender, why not have something of the carrot here? We are in a situation where there's all sorts of extraordinary actions being considered and countenanced when it comes to safeguarding the environment, and we have households effectively contributing to this problem.
We are looking at household offenders. There's also an awful lot of commercial offenders that need to be looked at in relation to this, but it's not good. Our rivers are being polluted every single day, and our drinking water. So that is one story that's there today. Now we've got another story: new parental supervision and privacy features added to all Meta platforms. So that's Facebook, Instagram.
Facebook, Instagram, yeah. Now, I think they own WhatsApp as well, don't they?
They own WhatsApp as well, yeah.
There's no mention of WhatsApp.
So what do they do?
It's kind of probably harder to do on WhatsApp
Yeah.
because it's obviously, no one really knows what happens in WhatsApp because it's all
But
private and encrypted.
the problem about this is that the children need to opt into this.
The children and the
system.
parents, yes. So basically, this is a new kind of suite of measures rolled out by Meta across Instagram and Facebook, which will allow parents to do things like see who their kids are following and who they're followed by, and also set time limits and see when somebody is blocked by their kid. Effectively, that could be a kind of a signal of a problem. And look, I think in the round, these things are probably welcome, and a lot of parents would appreciate, if not a mechanism that allows them an overweening eye into exactly what kids are doing. And this doesn't allow people to actually read messages or anything like that, but more of a sense of what's going on online. But what it doesn't do, I think, is address that kind of fundamental and more pressing problem that is faced not only by kids, but also by adults, which is that, like, you know, these platforms are addictive, and they're gamed to be addictive. They're gamed to exploit human psychology in a way that clearly produces bad outcomes for human psychology, for the people who, for users. And there's a bigger societal conversation that I think has to be had, most pressingly in the form of kids whose brains aren't fully developed yet, about the degree to which you use these things and the categories of use. That won't be tackled just by some new baubles and some bells and whistles on the platforms themselves.
It is going in the right direction, because I just want to get to this, because if I kept doing this, Murren,
oh God,
what would that do to you now?
Lovely, grand.
What would that do to you?
Fair play to you. You can do it. I can't do it.
Jack, go on.
Misophonia. This is called. So a new study
drive Tommy mad.
A new study suggests that thousands of people suffer from this thing called misophonia, which is an aversion, it seems, to a particular sound or particular set of sounds. It's the ick, basically.
Yeah.
It's
the ick.
When a sound gives you the
something
ick.
that would drive you mad if you kept doing all day.
So,
Miriam, what's my ick? What do you hate?
About you?
Yeah.
Nothing. You were absolutely amazing.
What do you hate about Tommy? What's his ick?
They are absolutely wonderful human beings. We want to know the sound that drives you absolutely insane, like chewing gum.
Yeah, chewing. So we're here chewing gum. If there's clicking or if you're doing this all day.
Text us.
What's your one?
It's more of a sensation. It's when someone bites into ice or an ice lolly.
That crunch on it.
That's lovely.
You can't handle it.
Can't handle it.
089 611 We'd love to hear from you from the Irish Times. Jack Horgan Jones, thanks you for joining us. We'll be back with you very shortly on Ireland.
You're our lovely ick.
I'll take it.
Our lovely ick. Good morning. It's great to have you back here on Ireland AM. We've still got lots happening over the next 2 hours, from a soap star turned podcaster to a comedy master. Here's what's coming up.
She's been on almost every UK soap imaginable, and now likes to let loose on our TV screens. Denise Welch will be joining us to chat about her brand new podcast. Tommy, when are you going to get a podcast? Come on, dude.
Everyone's got a podcast.
Everyone's got a podcast.
Plus, she's the breakout comedian who has performed at the Edinburgh Fringe and Electric Picnic, and also happens to be a wheelchair user. Disability activist Saoirse Smith will tell us about the obstacles she faces when navigating the Irish comedy scene.
And if the recent summer sunshine has your nutrition off track, you know, you kind of eat differently when it's warm and you're all over the place.
I eat better.
Do you?
Eat more salads and stuff.
Oh, the mammy salad with the bit of lettuce, the bit of tomato and the slice of ham.
Burgers and sausages.
There you go.
Yeah,
we're talking mindful eating during the hotter months. We'll talk about that in just a little while.
Mindful. Well, we've got something very mindful in the kitchen this morning, Alan, don't we?
Sorry, did we just go from that?
Mindful eating over here, lads. Look at this. That's what you call mindful eating now.
The summer
on a Wednesday morning.
And we giving out about communication in another place, not realising health. Sure, let's have a bit of cheesecake.
Yeah, we have a bit of cheesecake.
Now, the strawberries are healthy.
Thank you, Alan.
And it's very healthy, isn't it? Yeah, it's very
Catherine.
Dodgy.
Catherine.
There's 500 mils of cream in it.
And sugar and the rest.
The truth matters here, Catherine, on Ireland. Yeah, I love it.
The jam.
Look at that. It looks beautiful. It really
Now, it's
does.
a very simple recipe. Just a few stages to it, and we'll be able to sample it later on.
We will be having a sample, and Derek won't be having a sample because he's keeping fit with a load of kids in Edenderry this morning. Derek, no cheesecake for you.
We are indeed, Al. We are flossing. We are giving it socks. Saying hello to everyone here at Skullfrida in Edenderry. How are we all doing, guys? Yeah, we're all great. It's Schools Active Week all this week, guys. We've lots of fun, lots of fitness from the playground coming your way right across the moor. Camille, show us your little trick. What can you do with the hula hoop? Off you go.
Which way?
Do it here. Good girl. Oh, Oh, look at that. We're going to have 4 teams lined up. Team Alan, Team Wirren, Team Tommy and Team Derek. It's all to play for later on this morning, live from County Offaly. A big cheer, guys!
Well done, Derek. Love it. Love that little trick.
I'm not even joking. Go find hula hoops. Let's see what we can do. We'll sort this out before the end of the show. It's time now to take a look at this morning's papers with one story dominating today, starting with the Examiner. Its headline, Furious RTÉ staff demand reforms. Large-scale protests of RTÉ workers took place yesterday in a number of locations, including Cork, Limerick and Dublin, with staff calling for answers amid the spiralling controversy at the public service broadcaster.
The Irish Times goes with that same story. Their headline, RTÉ fails to quell political disquiet over Tubridy pay controversy. Politicians have reacted negatively to the broadcaster's latest statement on the pay issue, as well as the refusal by the former Director-General, Dee Forbes, to appear at Leinster House.
Sarah goes with RTÉ. No evil. RTÉ bosses yesterday failed to take the heat out of the Ryan Tubridy payment scandal with a statement pointing most of the blame at ex-Director-General Dee Forbes.
Pointing the finger at Forbes won't wash is the top story on the Daily Mail. The state broadcaster's executives have been warned that answers will be expected despite the absence of Dee Forbes.
The Mirror also covers this story with thrown under Dee bus. The national broadcaster says Dee Forbes was the only member of its executive board who knew the top presenter's published salary was wrong.
Sun also leaves that. Dee, only one who knew.
The Star similarly says, pull Dee other one.
And the Irish Independent goes with RTÉ chiefs caved in repeatedly to Tubridy demands. RTÉ's statement shows the broadcaster repeatedly caved into paid demands from Tubridy's agent, which was met with astonishment in public and political circles.
Yeah,
and no surprise, we have an awful lot of messages coming through on that, Alan, as well. And just people are very upset.
Jen says, yeah, it's exact. And I mean, like, so the agent, I've no problem that an agent is getting as much money for it, but like, RTÉ in such a desperate way to keep him. Like, you know, agreeing to all these sidebar deals.
Agreeing to that, well, he's not really. Like, what competition is it?
I say the competition, we can't lose. Ryan and Jen says the wages that the top 10 RTÉ staff are being paid is ridiculous. People in this country are struggling to get from week to week, and they're so out of touch. RTÉ are out of touch with the public if they think that that's a decent salary or that's a good salary to hold on to the talent,
and
as
Claire
they call
says,
it.
Ryan is getting all the blame. He's so well respected. It's sad to see him being thrown under the bus. I believe that he wasn't aware. And I know that a lot of people are wondering about Ryan and what's that. And there's lots of messages there. We really do appreciate you sending them in. But we've got loads of other things. And this is a survey that's been done that
people are trying to have their breakfast here.
That 1 in 5 people have misophonia, and this is a medical condition that triggers an extreme emotional or psychological distress reaction to certain sounds. Sorry,
like if I kept doing that.
Fiona,
does that bother someone?
My girlfriend.
No, I'm saying, does it bother you? No. Does it bother you, Tommy?
Well, it's starting to annoy me.
It's not bothering my ear.
It's starting to annoy all of us this morning, Alan. My girlfriend cracks her knuckles and her toes non-stop. She knows it frustrates me. It does it anyway. I hate that.
I can't crack my knuckles.
This is the sort of thing I do get frustrated with.
Can you crack your knuckles?
No.
I can't do it either.
I can't stand anyone...
Listening to Alan Hughes. That's so harsh. Yes.
I can't stand listening to anyone eating cereal. The slurp of milk turns my stomach, says Jess this morning.
Oh, this is a bad one. If you go to the cinema, do you know, like the cinema, and you hear people rustling and eating all the time? James says a girl I work with has a bag of crisps every single day at 4 o'clock, and the noise of her eating them makes me want to scream. She savours them for honestly, savages them for almost 10 minutes, drives me mad. I have to go make a cup of tea when I see her coming.
Every day at 4 o'clock.
I respect her so much for making a bag of crisps last 10 minutes. Like, that is skill.
That's a good individually. But I mean, there's nothing in a bag of crisps anymore.
No, air.
But imagine that's her little routine every day, 4 o'clock, going for me bag of crisps, and everybody in work going, oh God, here she is again. Love it.
Keep those messages coming in. Are there any noises that really do frustrate you, like cracking the knuckles?
And then
apart from me.
We'll have our panto dame then mime them out, because that seems what you want to do.
And also, even on the RTÉ saga, we'd love to try and get through some of those messages again too.
Now, good news for somebody. Virgin Media are rolling out 2 gig full fibre broadband across Donegal. And to celebrate, we're visiting Letterkenny to give away another fabulous Virgin Voyages cruise.
This price is amazing.
Yeah,
if you are in Letterkenny Town next Tuesday, that is July 4th, between, it's early, 8 and 10 a.m, and you're only dying to chat to our fabulous Derek Hartigan to win an amazing holiday, you can email irelandam@virginmedia.ie.
Yeah, we want you to tell us why you deserve a 7-night round trip for 2 adults. The closing date to enter is this Friday, the 30th of June at 9 o'clock in the morning. And of course, terms and conditions apply. And one of those reasons will not be that you have to listen to your employee eating her bag of crisps every day.
Make that the reason.
Yeah,
why
make up the reason why I deserve a cruise.
I'm going to lose my mind.
I have to put up with Alan doing this all morning.
There you go.
Now, up next, what do you get when you give a loose woman a podcast? Well, Denise Welch will be here shortly to tell us exactly what it is. I'll talk to you in a minute.
Thanks for staying with us now, viewers. Might best remember her as the feisty barmaid Natalie Barnes. Oh, I do, on the cobbles. But since leaving the soap, Denise Welch has added author, panellist, and of course, podcaster, to name a few to her credentials.
And we're delighted to say that Denise is joining us live this morning. We hope that she can hear us. Denise, how are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. I can hear you. You did all sound like you were in a bath together, but it's a bit clearer now.
We love to be in a bath together. That would be great. And you could join us anytime, Denise Welch. We'd love that. That would make the headlines.
I'm horrified. I'm horrified. I don't need that picture at this hour. No one needs that picture at this hour of the morning,
Get it
Denise.
out of my mind.
How are you? Do you know what? You've given so much over the years. The last time you were on this show, you were talking about your book and you were talking about the struggles that you've had in your life, depression and the addiction issues that you have. But you seem to be in a really, really good place. How are you doing?
I'm doing really well. Thank you for acknowledging that. Yeah, because I have had a struggle. I'm a survivor. But since 2019, I haven't had an episode of depression, which is since September 2019. And that is the longest I've ever gone in 34 years. So every day I don't have depression is a good day for me because I can deal with everything else, as anybody who has that illness will understand.
And then recently, a birthday recently, do you mind telling us, or we won't disclose that? But
No, I had my 65th birthday, and it's really weird because I feel better than I have done for a long time, certainly better than I did in my 40s and 50s. I'm fitter, I'm eating better, I feel great mentally. But when I see the age 65 written down, in my mind, I see a little old pensioner hobbling across the zebra crossing with people escorting her over. That's what I see in my mind. Yeah. But the reality is completely different to that. It's weird.
And you celebrated with a very glam photo shoot, I have to say.
I did.
Look at you.
Look at you there.
Well, I was absolutely chuffed. You know, I went to that shoot and I wasn't feeling my best that day. And they said to me, we've got these black hot pants and a little lacy top. And I went, over my dead body, am I wearing hot pants in this shoot? And they said, please, just give it a try. We've got a fantastic photographer. Anyway, as soon as I saw the test shots, I thought, absolutely, I'll have a bit of that. They were geniuses at the different angles they had. So I was very flattered to have such a good team.
You look absolutely fabulous in them, and there is something about you because we feel like we know so much about you, obviously, on Loose Women, and in your books, you're so open. And there's one thing that I loved reading about from your own mouth, and that's you're 11 years sober, which is a huge congratulations. Like, it is so amazing.
Thank you.
And the one thing, the way you talk about it is how you were in the midst of this battle, this addiction, but it's how it did affect everyone else around you as well, because it is a battle for them too, right?
Well, the thing about sobriety, to address the first point, is that it's not just you that has your life changed for the better in every single aspect. It's the ripple effect of how your sobriety helps and enables the people who love you to live their lives. Because when you're in an addiction, you put to the back of your mind how your behaviours are affecting the rest of your family. And you can be in denial as much as you like, but they do. And so becoming sober has given for Lincoln and I, because my husband and I got sober together, and we have you know, 3 sons between us. And they can now live their lives and fly because mum and dad are sober. And that is just the greatest gift. It's the thing, apart from having my kids, that I am the most proud of. And we never, ever, ever take it for granted. Every single day, we are grateful that we are sober. We haven't become the drink police. You know, although can I be around my friends when they're drunk? No, absolutely not. I love my friends, but I have to leave.
Yeah.
So I have people less to our house, because when I'm at their house and I hear, should we just get that and the bottle out? I think, time to go. Time to go home and have a crumpet.
To have a crumpet. Or somebody said to me, time to go home for a Horlicks. Somebody said to me a long time ago.
The thing is that consumption, you know, is at an all-time high. And I think a lot of people are in denial about how much they're drinking. And, you know, I've got friends, I'm sure you have, who say, well, I don't have a drink problem because I don't drink Monday to Friday. It's like, yes, but you black out at the weekends.
Yeah.
You know, alcoholism is not about how regularly you drink. It's how you become powerless over it. And so it's just the freedom of that. And when people think that they can't have a great time, I'll tell you what, you have a much, much better time. And so do the people around you, because there's nothing worse than being stuck with somebody drunk in a corner at a party. And I'm surprised I've got any friends left.
and Denise, I mean, people know you so well from your TV and Coronation Street and playing Natalie Barnes. I mean, where were you having those struggles? Were they daily struggles when you were on the set of Corrie?
Yeah, it's difficult, you know, because people say to me, when did this happen? And when did this happen? And when did you get well? And when did your postnatal depression go? The answer is, it didn't really. I was 38 when I went into Coronation Street, and I was 31 when I had Matty. And so I had severe hospitalised postnatal depression, which was on the verge of a puerperal psychosis. I was terribly, terribly ill, and which is why I have spoken out for 34 years about this illness, and we still don't do enough about it. And there's, you know, they're 2 separate illnesses as well. It's horrendous. But obviously things have moved on significantly in that time, and I hope that I've played a small part in opening up the conversations. But during Coronation Street, I was struggling with having relocated my family. I was married to the boy's dad then, Tim, and you know, Matty was in a new school. I was working 14-hour days, and my depression increased hugely. And that's when I started really self-medicating, because when people say, did you drink? You know, yes, I used to drink like everybody did. I'd get tipsy on a Friday and be hungover on a Saturday if I went to a party. But, you know, I had no issue with drinking until I had postnatal depression. And it just became, anybody who's been depressed will know that you will do anything to stop the pain, whether that's alcohol or drugs, which of course then becomes a vicious circle. People who take their own life with depression, they don't want to die, they want to stop the pain. And that's what I was doing for a long time. And then, of course, that took me down a very, very, very dark, rocky road. Yeah. But luckily, you know, things are great. My kids are flying. They've both got successful careers. They've all got successful careers. I'm incredibly close to all of them. And I'm so lucky that I've got the family that...
Successful careers. Your son is Matty Healy, the lead singer with the 1975. Louis acting. He's already in soaps. I mean, what's going on in your house with the genetics? It really does pass down through you.
I know. It's funny, you know, because I did an interview the other day with someone, and I was talking about how the boys' band started 20 years ago in our garage. Then Lincoln, my husband, who's now a successful artist, started painting in my garage, and I thought, I must do something else in my garage. I've got a very successful garage.
Is this where you're going to do, because you've got a brand new podcast, Juicy Crack, which, Denise, it is gas to listen to, because there are stream of consciousness voice messages from you being on a treadmill, you stuck in traffic. It's from all over the place. Will you be doing it in your garage?
Well, to be honest, now I've just said that, I think I might, and it might go to number 1 if I do it in the garage. It's sort of like an audible reality show. So for those people who like chaos, as somebody said, it's like my head, you know, jumping all over the place. I've had a hiatus because Lincoln and I have been doing Celebrity Hunted, which you'll see later at the end of the year. That was an experience. I can't wait to come on and talk about that for Channel 4. So we did it together.
Love it.
And
but
you're
obviously
still,
I can't talk about the outcome.
But you're still together as a couple, because I watched that show.
We are still together as a couple,
Okay.
and we loved it. But is it stressful? Oh my God, yes, it is. So obviously I wasn't able to do the podcast. So I'm back on board now, and I'm back, and I can start with me juicy crack again, as they say.
And Denise, you were talking about birthdays and parties, and I saw something on your Instagram, and you were at a birthday party of some very famous people around a table.
Oh, her mates?
Yes.
Some of your mates?
Yes, indeed.
Tell us about that party.
That was at Michael Caine's.
Oh, just that little party. Michael Caine. You know him, Michael Caine.
I know. Honestly, we really do not. It's so funny when I see pictures like that, because we really do not live a hugely, massively celebrity world. We just don't. But Michael loves Lincoln's artwork and has several of his pieces. And that's how we became friends. We adore him. And we were thrilled and honoured to be invited to his birthday party. And Shakira had asked me to say a few words, and I did. And a certain Tom Cruise found it hilariously funny, which is very, very flattering.
If anyone hasn't watched this, you can see it online. Just type in Denise Welch, Michael Caine, sex jokes, and you'll get it right there. And more of that on the Juicy Crack podcast. It is, as you said, it is an audio reality show. Brilliant insight into your life. Denise Welch, it's so great to see you looking so fantastic.
Thank you
congratulations.
so much. It's always lovely to talk to you.
And
11 years sober.
Yeah, and thank you for being so open with us again this morning. You're always just that kind of person. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Denise. Cheers.
Thank you. I'll let you get back into your bath.
Are you not coming over to join us? No.
I'm on a flight very shortly.
Thank you very much, Denise.
Welcome back to the show. Now we have a classic dessert in the kitchen today.
We do, and her name is Catherine Leyden. The classic dessert lady. How are you, Catherine? Good morning to you.
Thank you. The heat's baiting now through me here, but anyway, we'll survive. Now,
we'll survive.
I'm going to start by making part of the filling. So for that, I'm using 200
tell
gram
us what
tub.
you're making.
Oh, sorry, I'm making a cheesecake. Strawberry cheesecake. Now, I've put in there 200 grams of Philadelphia cream cheese. You can use light cheese if you wish, but I'm going for the full Monty here today, right? Now, to that, I'm going to add 125 grams, that's 4 ounces of strawberry jam. Okay?
Right.
There's the sugar now, Alan, going in. Okay?
You have the strawberry with the bits in it.
Yeah. Now, I'm going to put that on a low heat.
A low heat?
Sorry, low beat. A low beat while we make the base. And the base is a 400 gram pack of digestive biscuits. Now, you can put them in a plastic bag, take your rolling pin and beat it down, or I just put that into the processor, right? In that goes.
Oh, wow.
And Tommy was just saying he loves the fact that it's a big base on it.
I loved it. I love lots of
not just a little tiny bit.
Less of the cheese, more of the
Correct.
Biscuits, yeah.
Here I have 150 grams, that's 5 ounces of melted butter.
Okay.
And you just mix the butter through the biscuits until all the biscuit is moistened. Now, don't worry about it coming together. You don't have to get it together. You just have to moisten all the crumbs with the butter.
Okay.
And when that comes together, when the dryness has gone out of it, we're going to transfer it to the spring form tin.
Okay.
Now, a tip for you for that. That's what it looks like now, all moistened.
Now, if I didn't use a food processor, so it was a bit more bitty, whatever, can you put extra butter in, or is there to hold it?
No, it'll work.
Together?
Watch this now, Tommy. It'll work. Now, to see that, it's quite crummy looking.
Yeah.
Take your springform tin. First tip, turn it upside down on the plate you're going to serve it on. Because if you put the base into that tin, you'll have an awful job to get it completely out. It'll break. With the little,
so you put it on the plate.
You put it on the plate,
you're not putting it in the
and
oven,
you turn it
so
upside down. Yeah, you turn it upside down. Then you transfer the mixture to the tin, and you spread it evenly. Now, what we do at this stage is, and this is there's no left there.
And Catherine, if you didn't put it in the mixer, would you you don't mind if there's bigger? You'd like the bigger chunky bits of biscuit, wouldn't you? In it, would you? Is that okay to have that, or do you need it?
I know, it's better fine.
Is it better fine?
Because you don't want the lumps of biscuit going through it.
Okay.
Now, tip here. When you spread it out in the tin, take a glass or a jar and press it down well, OK? And you leave it to set or to go cold. And I have one here ready for off Oh, I'm having a visit here from somebody,
we have
am I?
A big fly has just come into the studio.
Add a bit of flavour.
At this stage, Tommy, at this stage, the cheese and the raspberry jam have blended together. I'm now going to add to that 500 mils of cream. Now, just to speed up on the beating. Well, you say, my God, Alan, but you're getting a huge cheesecake.
I suppose if you're only having a small little slither, that's all I'll be having.
Is that all you'd have?
And listen, she'd be eating healthy with your barbecue, with your nice salads and stuff.
Yeah.
This is the dessert.
This is your dessert, your treat, your dessert, exactly. Now, you just
healthier.
Whip that in. Now, you do get the job done that bit quicker if you have the larger mixer.
Do you do a bit faster with this one? Because that was a very slow beat.
Yeah, I just wanted... The reason I had it slow, Tommy, was simply the noise.
Okay.
That people could hear me talking over it. Now, we'll just give that a whisk through.
That.
And next, we're going to add to that
What's
help if we turned it off, lads.
What's the secret to this, Catherine? Because normally, if you get a cheesecake, or a lot of the time, the big risk is that you take it off and it kind of sags down. How does it keep
The secret is to use your jar and press the biscuit base well down.
Okay.
Sturdy
so
in it.
biscuit base
If you
is
don't,
the secret,
if you don't press that down well, you're in trouble.
Okay.
Now, there we have the
mixture.
Cream. Yeah. Now, you may have seen there, I lightly whipped the cream first of all.
Yeah.
Just to cut down again on the beating. Now, to that, we're going to add jelly. Strawberry jelly.
Jelly?
Yes.
I'm lost. I'm a bit confused.
Why are you confused?
Jelly in a cheesecake?
Yeah.
I've seen that before.
It sets it.
So that sets it. So that keeps it more structured.
Correct.
Right, there you
jelly
go.
sets it. Now, you melt the jelly, the full slab of jelly, with 3 tablespoonfuls of water just, OK? And then you slowly heat it until the jelly has melted, and then allow it to cool.
So that's obviously strawberry jelly then, is it?
Strawberry jelly, exactly. OK?
No flies on me. If it's a strawberry cheesecake.
Now,
you can tell he's switched in this morning.
Stir in your jelly,
Imagine
and now you pour it into the prepared tin.
The jelly's the sort of thing that's always in the back of the cupboard, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like,
You'll always have a jelly around.
I've only the orange one.
Stick it in. Orange and strawberry.
Oh, no, that wouldn't go too well, no. So now...
OK, so you flatten that out and then...
Just scoop it all out.
Can we have a slice?
And you leave that now. Come over here and have a cut a slice there, Alan.
Get a little slice, yeah, lovely.
Can we get a shot of this first, though? We see this. Look at that. Isn't that just amazing?
We get a shot now, a slice out of it.
Now, you can pipe cream around the edge if you wish. I don't think we've...
I've been told to leave it where it is so they can get a shot of it. There it is. Look at that.
Now.
Wasn't that worth it?
That was worth the shot. Look at that.
Into the fridge.
OK,
now,
I'm taking it now.
You can put a little bit of mint on top as well if you wish.
Oh, no, let's not go with the mint. Okay. Why would you go with mint?
Get down your 2 plates there.
Look at that.
Stuff.
Is this the right knife?
Yeah. No, wrong knife.
No, wrong knife.
You need a bread knife.
OK.
That's why. Cutting, dragging through it.
Catherine, that is absolutely
My pleasure.
delicious. Look at that. That is...
Oh, now, Tommy.
Oh, Tommy.
Look at that. And do you know the jelly? That keeps the structure, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
that's the idea, your jelly.
Catherine, as always, an absolute
My pleasure. My pleasure.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Gorgeous.
It's gorgeous, yeah.
I think actually when you do taste the jelly, it's lovely. Catherine, super.
Thank you
very much. Now, coming up after the break, Derek is getting some tips on keeping your kids active this summer. We're going to be chatting to him in a few minutes. Now, school is almost out for summer, and it is important, of course, to keep your kids as active as possible during those months that they're off and keep them off their phones.
Derek is at one school who's helping you do just this. Over to you, Derek.
Yes, good morning, team. We have lots of fun and fitness coming your way in a few minutes' time. In fact, we have a 4-way challenge to celebrate School's Active Weekend. We're joined now by Orlaith Carmody. She's a teacher and current Offaly Camogie player, as well as Martina Fitzmaurice. She's the Active Schools Coordinator with us, as well as Mood Tory. Who are you teaching, Martina?
I teach senior infants.
You're teaching senior infants. Anyway, tell us about School's Active Week.
Active Schools Week, well, it's a great week here in the school. It is a week that is designed to promote physical activity across the school, and the idea idea is that every child will get involved in some way, take part, have fun. All the emphasis is just on participation, enjoyment, rather than competition, and just getting involved and having fun.
And there is a big focus on it here in the school.
There is, yes. We have a big focus on activity throughout the school year, and we focus on not just sports but all sorts of activity: dance, gymnastics, athletics. The children across the school are involved in so much. We're a very inclusive school, and we like to ensure that all the children, their interests and abilities of all the children are catered for here in the school.
Participation has been so high, you actually got awarded with an active school flag.
Yes, and we're going for our third active schools flag now this year, so hopefully we'll be successful in getting it.
All right. Orlaith, you're also a teacher here in the school. Who have you got?
I'm in the special education class.
Okay, how's that going?
Good, yeah.
Good. You look forward to summer holidays?
Yeah, definitely, but looking forward to getting back as well.
They're on the way. Now, you're with the Offaly Camogie team. How are Offaly Camogie doing at the moment?
Bit of a rough and tumble at the moment. We had 2 losses in the round stages against Antrim and Waterford, but we've Limerick all to play for now on Saturday.
Okay, so once again, it's the Clash of the Ash.
The Clash of the Ash this weekend at home in Banagher, so hopefully we'll come out with a win.
The O'Duffy Cup all to play for. Where are we at in the championship at the moment?
So if we hopefully beat Limerick on Saturday, we'll avoid relegation. So we'll just have to see.
I'm a bit biased, as you know.
Yeah, that's okay. That's understandable.
That's okay.
So hopefully now we'll come out with a win and just avoid relegation, I suppose, this year and stay up senior.
The Kilkenny team were winners last year. The year before that we had Galway, and Cork always nipping at the heels as well. They were runners up in both years.
Yeah, most definitely. And I suppose you see the likes of Tipperary there as well that are doing very well throughout the year and did very well in the league. So I suppose it's hard to know. It's all in the pot for those teams, and sure, just hopefully the best of luck to all of them.
The best of luck to both. And of course you're quite involved in the Active Schools Week as well.
Yeah, most definitely. I try volunteer wherever I can. I suppose we're very lucky here to have so many teams for both boys and girls, and we're very inclusive in that way, that the Camogies and hurling is doing really well in Edenderry over this side of the county, and it's definitely pushing on the likes of the football and soccer and all that.
And Martina, you have a fantastic school. We're out in the playground, lovely shots on air there. I mean, the school was set up back in 2015. It's a beautiful, beautiful building.
Yes, we are very, very fortunate. We have a junior end of the school and a senior end of the school, and also a special education class. And we have oodles of facilities to cater for all children, and all children get to enjoy all of the facilities here.
And over 500 students here as well.
Yes, it's a big
busy
school. It's
you're looking forward to your school holidays.
Yes, definitely. But it's a very active school, and we're very fortunate to have such a good school here.
And thanks for welcoming us here this morning. Anyway, we didn't come here to chat about Camogie. We came here for Sports Day. Yeah. And we're going to pass over here now to Moon Tornole, who is with us. Moon Tornole, talk us through what's happening here this morning.
Well, Derek, it's all to play for here this morning. We've our 4 teams. Let's hear for Team Alan, Team Derek, Team Tommy, and Team Wirren.
Okay, so what are we going to be doing on the course here?
Well, Derek, each team has to throw their beanbag into the hoop, pick the beanbag up onto the paddle, come along here along the benches and complete the jumps at the end.
Okay.
First team to complete that wins the bragging rights.
Okay, so no pressure, right?
No pressure.
Are you ready, guys? Give us a bit of support! All right.
On your marks, get set. Go. And we're off. Derek got off to a great start. Probably on the bench there from himself. Is he cheating?
3, 2, 1, go! Next,
okay, and we're off next. Ollie Murphy flying along there, up onto the bench.
We've Team Allen as well. Team
the kids
Tommy,
off the end there, floating like butterflies, and we're off next. Let's go.
Go!
This is going to be tight. This is going to be tight. It has Team Tommy just edged into the lead.
Come on, Team Derek.
Team Derek just coming up behind him. This is a great effort here, all along the benches there. Great stuff. Pippa Russell on the move there, up along to the bench.
No pressure, guys.
Oh, that's close by Kyron. Up you go there, Kyron. Good man.
Go.
Keep going. This is great stuff. Team Allen.
Go, keep going. Allen. Yes.
It's going to be tight. It's going to be tight. Do we have a winning team? I think Tommy has just nipped it. Let's go. Great stuff. Up onto the bench. It's going to be tight between these two. And over we go. Come in here. Derek,
So, Moon Tornole, obviously, who won there?
Look, it looked like Team Tommy pipped it in the end.
Oh, Team Tommy, but
everybody's a winner here, so no homework for anybody tonight.
Yeah! Turn
around there, have a look at the camera. A big wave back to everyone in studio. No homework tonight. Big shout out, everyone.
Well done.
Well done, Team Tommy. Well done.
Team Tommy.
Everybody out there, pick the right team. Fair play to them.
Oh,
Fair
yeah,
play.
it had
Look
to be
at them.
Tommy, didn't it? Always come
Don't
last.
worry about
Always
Lauren.
come
Don't
last.
worry.
And
Don't worry.
I love that we're those people. Can you remember when the person who's come into school and you get homework off?
Oh, yeah.
We're homework off. We've
No.
just caused that to
You aren't
happen.
going to be doing any homework
It's
anyway.
like the
but listen,
coolest thing that's ever happened
means
in my
we have
life.
no homework tonight either, which is great. So
But let's
who we're
officially
talking to
give
tomorrow.
everybody no homework across the country.
There
You
you
know
go,
what?
Alan.
We'll be back with you in Ireland AM. He needs to revel in his victory. We'll be back in just a minute.
Watching.
Hello, welcome back to the final hour of Ireland AM. We've got a comedian who's sure to sell out a show, casual fashion to make you glow, and summer nutrition for when you're on the go.
Love it.
You love a rhyme. Do you love a rhyme? Let's take a look at what's coming up.
Coming up very shortly, comedian Saoirse Smith tells us about the difficulties she faces as a wheelchair user in Ireland.
Nutritionist Sinead Bradbury is helping us to stay healthy during the summer season after we've all eaten an entire cheesecake. Sinead, what do you got for us?
Hi guys, yeah, I'm here this morning talking about what to be mindful of in relation to summer foods. We want to have fun during the summer, back to routine, of course we want to embrace that, but also it's a time when we can just go right off track and not feel too good. So it's about having more energy to be healthy and happy and do what you want to do this coming summer.
It'd go lovely in some Prosecco, wouldn't it?
And cheesecake as well. Thank you very much, Sinead. We'll catch up with you later on. Alan, what's going on over the catwalk?
Well, Tommy, you've already told us it's fashion to make you glow. That's it.
Okay, well, thank you.
Yes, is that it? That's it, yeah. Whether you're at home or abroad this summer, comfort is the key, and Lauren is here to tell us more. You're making you glow, according to Muireann and Tommy.
Exactly. I think the clothes we have today are going to make you glow, whether you're home or abroad. So we were listening to the brief. We've got some lovely pieces from Casual Company today. Pop-on dresses, some really good fabrics. They'll keep you cool in warm weather and this kind of humid, sticky weather we have at the moment as well. And how to keep it relaxed but still feel really chic.
OK, looking forward to that. That's coming up a little later on. Now our fitness fanatic Derek is keeping active this morning. Derek, how are you getting on?
Yes, Al, we're giving it socks. We're down here at Sculphered in Edenderry in County Offaly. As we mentioned earlier on, Active Schools Week right across the country all this week. The guys are shooting hoops here behind me. And by the way, big ups to Team Tommy as well, the winner there in our challenge earlier on. Here we go. We're giving it a shot. 3, 2, 1. Up. Oh, just missed. Back to you guys in studio.
The things that happen in this studio when you're looking at news, Muireann was running around for a clicky pen and Tommy was chasing a fly. Muireann's going, is there a clicky pen? And Tommy's going around with a newspaper chasing a fly.
Alan, this is what... dare squash a fly. Anyway, tell us why was Muireann wanting to get a clicky pen?
Yes, because this is something we were talking about a little bit earlier on. 1 in 5 people have misophonia, which is a medical condition that triggers an extreme emotional or physiological distress caused by certain sounds.
And that's why you wanted the clicky pen. I'd actually think that would drive... because people would have a habit of sitting at their desk maybe and just clicking that like that.
Because Gemma says, I hate the noise of someone clicking their pen, especially when you're having a conversation. And they keep on clicking. Oh, you found one!
We found
Stephen!
one! Stephen, give us it in. Give it to Muireann there.
What about this one? This is an odd one. The sound of someone rubbing their eyes. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Oh, yeah,
I've got mascara on.
I hate the squelching noise.
Can you do it?
Can you do a squelch? I don't think it does. Mine does.
Well, mine's not squelching. Do I have something wrong with my eyes? They don't squelch.
Tommy, Prince Andrew can't sweat and Tommy can't squelch
his eyes.
Why do your eyes squelch?
When you rub them and you kind of got that gelatinous sound.
Yeah,
from
maybe in the morning. Sarah,
Yeah.
you've got like a bit of sleep
Can you
in your
do
eye or
it?
something.
I squelch. Oh, it's that type. Oh, I do hear
you
the
know that
noise.
sound? There is a
yeah,
gelatinous
there is a
sound.
noise. Yeah,
There is.
Sarah
You're
says
right.
my husband hates it when I tap my nails. That would be annoying. And for me, it's when someone bites a fork.
The metal sound.
This is a bit cringe. I don't like this as well. When someone's smacking their lips and they're eating, but the kissing noises on Love Island. Do you ever see that?
yeah.
Like, and you see them, you hear them. That's a bit. Yeah,
I
that's
think
a bit
that
wrong.
might be why I can't
Thank
watch
you,
it a lot of
Audrey.
the time. That sound really gets into your ears.
We were also talking about going on your holidays this year and thinking about your carbon footprint whenever you're
Yes.
flying, because obviously flying accounts for 2% of the overall worldwide global emissions. I like this one. Mark said, my family and I decided to buy an electric car. We put solar panels on our roof, trying to put the environment first and not travel abroad on holiday. Good on you, Mark. Even though we work extremely hard and long hours, we put the planet first before our wishes to take a holiday abroad. But I do look around me and see friends and family doing the opposite. What is the point in us doing the right thing if we don't all do it?
Well, Mark, all you can say is that if everybody didn't have your opinion, the world would be in a lot worse place. So well done to you and your family and other people like you who want to stay at home. Well, but there's a lot of people who can't afford to stay in Ireland.
There's Sean here who says, why would you stay in Ireland for a holiday? A pint in Dublin is now €8. It's only €2 in Lanzarote. 2 nights in a hotel in Ireland is the equivalent to over a week away somewhere else.
Isn't that insane, though, isn't it? It's actually more expensive to stay at home.
Actually stay here.
Yeah.
But we've known this for years.
But it was like yesterday when we were talking about the littering and they kept on bringing up, we really do this during summer because, tourists are coming into the country. And I'm like, we live here all of the time. Yeah. Can we not talk about making the place look nice or feel nice for people who live in this country all the time? Why are we always talking about tourists?
in this country making the mess somewhere.
Oh, no, I understand. I understand that.
Oh, I know.
But tourists might be doing it as well.
But I was walking through Dublin.
We always talk about tourists. We all live here.
Walking through Dublin last night and it's just dirty.
Yeah, it is dirty.
It's just dirty.
Anyway,
holiday in Ireland.
Thank you for sending us those texts. And really, really interesting. So now, coming up next, we're going to hear from the Irish comedian about the realities she faces as a wheelchair user while touring. Yeah, it is annoying, to be fair.
You just think I'm annoying.
That's just more
not the me. It's just she's loud and annoying. I'm his misophonia.
No, it's not really.
See you in a minute. Welcome back to Ireland AM. Now, our next guest is a comedian and also a disability activist. Her name is Saoirse Smith.
She's been using her platform to highlight the issues she faces daily as a wheelchair user, from having to crawl upstairs to navigating public transport. Let's take a quick look.
Thank you. Look at that parking. It was brilliant, wasn't it? My name is Saoirse. I'm a sit-down comedian. Thank you. I want to be a stand-up, but, effort.
So, when you're in a wheelchair and you have to get on the bus, you have to sit backwards, which then sometimes, especially if you're opposite somebody, it ends in a very weird staring contest.
When people first meet me, they said to me, oh, you're one of God's favourite. And I said, that's strange, because I'm not even my mother's.
Saoirse joins us now.
God's
Good morning to you.
Lovely.
Listen, it's great to have you with us. I mean, and because you've been on the comedy circuit for a long time, you've performed in Edenderry, you've done Electric Picnic, but obviously you talk about your disability with cerebral palsy as well. I mean, tell us first of all, how does it impact you, even away from the comedy, just on a day-to-day basis?
So, because I'm in the wheelchair, Ireland is not fit for wheelchair users. The main problems, issues like broken paths, no drop curbs, ramps not working on buses, constantly having to... You can never be spontaneous. You have to plan absolutely everything. And that doesn't always go to plan, even if you are the most organised person. So it can be very frustrating to constantly have to plan everything.
Because your life is fair. As an able-bodied person, I don't have to. I can do anything on a whim. Whereas for you, if you want to get a dart, a train, a bus, you have to at least book 3 hours in advance. Is that it?
Yeah, 3 hours in advance if I want a dart, 24 hours in advance if it's bus airing.
24 hours?
Yeah.
If you're going on a long trip?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. There was an incident where I was off to a gig in Mullingar, and I did book the bus to go back from Mullingar, and I got the times wrong in the gig, and I said to them, look, listen, I'm really sorry, because any times I could get a later bus, and they were saying, no, because you have to book 24 hours in advance, and not all our drivers are trained in getting you on and off.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you were even just telling us of an incident before the interview there about how you were going on a train, but they hadn't told you on the other side where you're getting off that the lift was broken.
Yeah. I'd actually booked well in advance, and about probably at 10 in the morning, and me and my boyfriend were going to the Bord Gáis, and we wanted to get off at Grand Canal. And just as we got there, just before the train, said, "Oh yeah, the lift isn't working on the other side." So they could have rung me and said, "Hey, lift's not working," and we could have organised alternative transport. So I ended up getting off at Pierce, and because the paths and construction are so bad there, I had an anxiety attack. Because it was so bad.
Right. And there's one thing I would say, as talking to people who have buggies, or a friend of mine who's blind, these days, how people are parking, I'm assuming that impacts you a lot because people are up on curbs all the time.
Yeah, there's a regular occurrence near mine where someone parks on the path. I've had to get guards involved every time, or, I've asked them politely, but yeah, the cars are on paths all the time, and you're trying to navigate past them, and you end up having to go. I've had to go on the road a couple of times.
To go into traffic?
Yeah.
Just to go down your road, just to exist as a person in everyday life. And we as able-bodied people an awful lot of time, we just don't think about it, right? Yeah.
So you've used comedy to highlight that. We can see in TikTok, we can see, and performing as well. I mean, what's it like on the comedy circuit then?
Well, I love doing comedy, but the majority of the buildings are not accessible. I'm having to crawl upstairs, go on my bum and do this, and I'm touching dirty stairs and things like that just to get upstairs and everything, and it's not nice. It's very embarrassing.
It's degrading and dehumanising.
And whenever I bring this up to politicians, they're like, "Oh, it's a listed building and all this," and I'm like, since when are buildings more important than people? And if Orlaith Neutron can be accessible, why can't other buildings be?
Yeah, and for you, even then, as a coping mechanism, have you always kind of used comedy as a way to, because you see a lot of the jokes, you're kind of making fun of their situation as well.
Yeah.
Is that something you did even growing up?
Surprisingly, no. I was very sensitive growing up about my disability, and then kind of just as I got older, my mum's partner, he kind of helped me see the funny side of it, and I just kind of gained a sense of humour about it. And then I studied theatre, and I loved performing, so I wanted to do comedy, and I absolutely love it.
And you're doing that alongside a 9-to-5 day office job, and you have to be wary of getting too successful, because if you do, you'll have all the benefits you need as a person with cerebral palsy sort of taken away from you because everything's means tested. Yeah,
exactly. So I can't even go for a promotion really in work. I did go for a promotion inside, but we're already having conversation of, will I work less hours so I earn less, so I don't lose my medical card? And then if I'm going for any grants for the Arts Council, or if I win an award, that's calculated with your disability, and then your medical card comes into question, and then it could be taken away as well.
So say you start earning 100 quid over the threshold of the means testing, and do you use your medical card a lot? You've got cerebral palsy, I would assume that you do.
Yeah, so the chair alone is through the medical card because it's medical equipment, any repairs for it, any new adaptions I need, any kind of extra spare wheels.
Yeah.
That's all through the medical card. The chair's a couple of grand, these wheels, the tyres are 400 each. Okay. So I don't have the money for that, you know. And I'm getting an electric wheel to kind of help me up hills, and that's 5 grand. Okay. So I can't afford that, you know. The promotion you get wouldn't cover that? No. All right, okay. No, okay. And it wouldn't, it's kind of the government wants us to work, but they also hinder us as well. It's we want you to do this, but we're also going to take things away from you if you do it. So there's no incentive to work. And it's incredible though that you are doing that, not for the money, but you're pursuing a passion, which is amazing too. But I'd say you probably have to turn down money then as well for this as well, because that all gets taken into account as well. Yeah, I've turned down money, or if it's only 20 quid here or there, if it's for, I can accept that. But if it's a couple of hundred, I say no, I can't, because I'll be taxed on it, and then things will come into question and things like that. And so I have to be very, so I'm basically performing for free the majority of the time. And the comedy circuit, you don't really get paid. It's only very rare. When you have the Netflix special. Exactly. That'll change everything. Then we'll be okay, we'll talk about that. How are things
in this country? You've been in a wheelchair for a very long time. Are things getting better or are we getting worse?
I think it's gone backwards.
Okay.
Even our Taoiseach said an ableist slur. Like, that's saying a lot. And
he said an ableist slur?
Yeah.
Right.
He said that Sinn Féin's politics were like for slow learners.
Yes, okay, yeah, he did.
Yeah, and his apology was like a playground thing. Like, she pulled my hair first, so I'm going to say this.
Okay.
So I don't accept that, his response, but even just constantly, you get a lot of lip service and you're constantly fighting and they're asking us to take part, but then they're not listening to us and anything. And then when we do speak and we say we're not getting these things, they don't take into account whatsoever.
Yeah, feels like
and
you're shouting.
It's just like you're hitting a brick wall.
Yeah, we hear it all the time. We hear about from so many people with other disabilities and things as well.
Yeah.
And it just you can see your frustration in that as well. And listen, and you're doing that amazingly on social media and getting that out there and bringing a comedy element to it as well, which kind of puts a smile on people's faces, but also at the same time raising very serious issues too. Listen, if people do want to find you online, they can find you at Saoirse Smith Comedy and on TikTok, Sit Down Comedian.
Yeah.
Like what you did there.
Taking it on. I do like what you did there. It's very good. Saoirse, pleasure to meet you. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
Cheers.
Thanks,
Thank you so
Saoirse.
much. Now, lots more to come on Ireland AM very shortly.
Whether it's beach strolls in Marbella, or a 99 in Rosslare, which is better?
Well, environmentally, a 99 Rosslare.
There we go. Yeah. Wherever you're going on your summer holidays, we have the wardrobe sorted.
We are joined by Lorna Waitman today. Lorna, thank you so much for joining us. Will we get straight into it with Hannah?
Let's get straight into it. So, Hannah is wearing probably one of the most powerful summer options you can have, which is the co-ward. I'm such a fan of a co-ward because not only do you have a full, complete look, you can break it up and wear it lots of different ways. So it's a kind of multi-purpose outfit. And if you are going on holidays, these are the kind of things you need to take with you because you will have lots of mixing and matching options. But also, the cobalt blue is just such a trend and it jumps out, doesn't it?
It's really popping.
Isn't it really popping? Now, this also comes in green, and these outfits today are from Casual Company. And another kind of styling point on this is that it has an elasticated waist on the trousers, which is great. So you can tuck in that lightweight fabric, give lovely shape and definition to a looser kind of style of outfit. But if you want to wear it out as well, you can. So these are just so comfortable. You can see it has a lovely drape down the back. So we've just tucked in the front so you can see that nice elasticated waist. And there's a lovely fall to the back of it as well. So you've got this easy style. There's a lot of kind of volume there, but by just tucking it in and with the waistline, you get a bit of structure.
And then, like, of course, you're saying that top with a white pair of shorts or a black pair of trousers or whatever, and the same with the trousers, a couple of tops.
There's just so much longevity in a coordinated outfit, which I particularly like.
Loving these sandals.
Aren't these sandals beautiful? They are kind of a gold sheen on them, and also metallics work really well with that really bright blue. So there's a lovely balance to it. And if you want to accessorize this, I would stick with something gold because it does balance off the blue really nicely as well. There's a short leg on these, kind of like ankle grazing.
Yeah.
So you'll get to see your footwear. So make sure you kind of prioritise that with the look too.
But can't see Hannah's face because we've gone with the biggest glasses in the world.
Aren't they just they're glam, aren't they? They're really good. And actually, it's like you just need your yacht to go with this outfit.
They really do.
You really do,
Isn't
don't
it
you?
amazing how a pair of sunglasses can actually set a whole look?
They can, because you can go from that really like lovely, comfortable daytime look and then elevate it up into nighttime, which I really like.
Great
And that
colour.
big sunglasses trend is not really going anywhere
No, it
either.
definitely isn't. Ava's here with the dress.
So Ava's here in a dress.
Sorry.
Now, the couple of things about this dress I love, and I know that the women of Ireland go mad for a sleeve on a dress, which is great because you are getting much more than a summer out of an outfit. So you're getting that little bit of coverage as well to keep you warm as we progress through autumn. You've got a really nice print, but not a print that kind of overwhelms the outfit as well. Because with prints at this time of year, they can be bright, they can be very bold. This one is really understated, so it's perfect for daytime. And also the top has like an elasticated kind of paneling from the neckline, just just down to just under the bust line, which is really flattering. So you get this kind of more structured, proportioned look with the dress. So then it kicks out from there as well, you know?
Of course, this sort of a dress, great with flip-flops, great with runners.
Exactly.
But you put a little kind of mule heel on it.
Yeah, because it's nice to dress up as well. And with a little kind of tiny little heel, which I'm also a fan of at the moment, nothing too high during summer because you just won't be able to walk. These ones are great and they're really good value as well. And the cream just balances off the tones in the dress as well. And something about this dress works for me so well because in my current maternity state as well, where I'm trying to navigate fashion, that lovely kind of empire line is so comfortable to wear. So it's really universal.
And we are hoping to do a maternity special with you because this woman can dress when it comes to maternity.
That's what we need.
Little silver earrings here as well.
Exactly. So blue is a lovely cool tone, so you can play with silver, but also the dress has a lot of print and detail in it between the sleeves and the paneling and the length of it, so you don't need to over accessorize. But it also comes in another colorway as well.
Okay, perfect.
Now, we saw this earlier on.
We got a sneak peek of this, and this is one of those styles of dresses I live in during the summer because it has that A-line effect, so it glides along your body, but also it doesn't hug your body too much, so it's lovely and cool no matter what kind of weather you're in. A t-shirt dress is like that summer essential must-have that you can put in your wardrobe now and then take it out later on as well.
Just in the blue?
You've got just in the blue. There's some other colours available in that as well, but also what I love about it is that lovely tiered bottom to it. So you'll see if you're wearing a block colour. If you look for details like that, just like a frill or a seam, it really distinguishes kind of those pop-on dresses in plain colours from others. So this is a really unique take on it.
Yeah.
And also, because you kind of feel like you're wearing a t-shirt, it is just super comfortable.
Super comfy. And then just
really
a pair of runners with it.
Just runners, because I think if you're, like, especially for casual wear during the day, you want to feel comfortable and you want to balance out that look. And just by keeping it really nice, so it's great for just running around or if you're heading away for a weekend. This kind of style is really, really good. It's something the casual company do really well.
Lovely. Olga, thank you so much for that. And Hannah is back with our final look of the day.
Hannah is back. And do you know what's so great about this look is that it's got a couple of secret weapons in it. So you've got this beautiful pink striped shirt, which is really lovely. Isn't it great? 100% cotton, so it's really comfortable and ideal for kind of humid or kind of sunny weather because cotton is such a hard-working fabric. It really works with your body temperature, and you can wear it tucked in or you can wear it out, whatever way you like. I also think this would look great as a beach cover-up just over your swimwear. So it's a lovely one to have. And also the fact that you're kind of styling it with a denim for those kind of maybe slightly cooler days is great. But the second secret weapon in this outfit are the jeans. This is a really like best-selling pair of jeans because they have a drawstring just at the waist, which is so good. And you can just tie that in a little bow if you wanted to.
It's a lovely shape to them as well.
Isn't there? And there's like a frayed detail at the top of the waistband as well. So it'll work really well if you want to tuck something more fitted into it, or equally as well with the shirt. So these are so comfortable, really stretchy.
And then finally we're going to look at the sandals.
So getting back to a sandal. I love denim and flat sandals for summer. They're just such an essential go-to, really comfortable, and the little turn-up on the denim as well just kind of balances that out. So you see a little bit more foot. So a sandal really dresses up a bit of a shirt and a jean, and it's just really easy to put together, and they're all available from Casual Company, and you can check them out online at casualcompany.ie.
That's the best sentence I've ever heard. You just see a little bit more foot. I love it.
It's like adding a bit of jewellery to your feet.
Jewellery to your feet. Lorna Wakeman,
Thank you
the
so
Queen. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Up next on Ireland AM, we're talking all things summer nutrition and how to stick to a routine when the days get hectic. We'll see you very shortly.
Now, with the summer in full swing, we are all a little bit separated from our normal routine.
Here to show us how we can manage our routine and be as healthy as possible while also enjoying the summer is nutritionist Sinead Bradbury. Sinead, it's lovely to have you here. When I think of summer, I think of my mum's salads, which is a bit of tomato, bit of ham, bit of lettuce. It's summertime. I love
There's nothing wrong with that, Maren. Nothing wrong with that.
Sausages on top of it, no?
Just the mum salad. It's ready to go. But what are some of the things that we kind of fall over during the summer? Because routine does go out the window, right?
Yeah, and that's fair enough, and that's the time of year for it, and we all want to embrace that. But I see in clinical practice how people are going wrong and how it's affecting them. And often even in the research, we see that people can be more inclined to put on weight during the summer than in the winter months. And that's because it's a lot of picking and eating on the go and not planning. So it's just something to think about. Also sleep, you know, we're up later, it's brighter, we might be staying up later and socialising, that's all fine, but then it's impacting our sleep a little bit as well. So when we don't get good sleep, we crave the wrong types of foods as well.
What about hydration? Because I'd say that's a problem all year round, but more so in the summertime.
Yeah, absolutely. And that can totally affect what we're craving as well, Tommy, and how we're feeling and our energy. And this is about having energy for enjoying the best time of the year for most people, you know. So on average, we should be having about 35 mils per kg of body weight hydration. Which is in around 2 litres kind of per day for most people. Well, again, depending on your weight as such, but it's important to keep that up. And again, we can be busy, we can be on the go, and we might forget that, and that could be contributing then to low energy and fatigue.
35 millilitres per kg. I'm calculating that directly after the show, because I was looking at it going, can I drink up to 3 litres? And I don't know. So it is important to do that, because we'd always think dehydration, but it is hydration as well.
Yeah, it's all about keeping...
all about that. Okay. Now, we're going to talk about some popular things that we have. You've got a lot of stuff.
I did, because I just wanted to make the point, Marion, of the snack foods, the on-the-go foods, and...
Processed foods.
Processed foods, exactly, Tommy. And just for kids and for families and on the go. And what we need to be looking at is the salt content, the fat content, and the sugar content. So just again, for your viewers, it should be about 3 grams per kg, 3 grams per 100 grams of, we'll say, fat. That's considered low fat.
Okay.
So even if you wanted to look at the salami there, maybe we'll say at the back.
Yeah.
What do you see fat, Tommy, per 100 grams?
45. Sorry.
Sorry. 45 grams.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So the recommendation would on a low fat, not to be on a low fat diet, but about 3 grams per 100 grams. So that's a really high fat product.
Okay.
And it's really high salt content foods as well. So a lot of the convenience foods, just be mindful of their salt content.
That should be 3 grams.
Yeah.
And it's 45.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I mean, 3 grams is on the lower side, but 45 grams is really high. So I'm all for making things easier, but just be mindful, because it's going to impact, even talking about hydration, more salt, you'll be thirstier.
My kids are mad for ice lollies. As soon as the sun comes out, that's all they want.
Yeah.
Are there better ones that you can...
Well, I mean, all for enjoying your ice cream, you know, hanging out, you know, hot weather. But have a guess, Tommy, which ones of those do you think is the lowest in calories, and which is the highest in calories?
I'm going
lowest.
This one's the lowest.
Okay,
and I'm saying either the Magnum or the Feast is the highest.
Yeah, you're not far off. So the Twister is 76 calories.
Oh!
Calippo, 100 calories.
Oh, is it?
Solero, 144. Cornetto is next at 272. We jump up then with a Magnum to 307, and a Feast, right, Marion, is 348.
348.
So, I mean, have your feast, enjoy it, but if you're, you know, if you are conscious of your calorie intake, maybe a Calippo might be slightly better for you.
They've all gotten smaller in size, my God. So a Twister is actually okay?
Well, I mean, not saying anything is okay or anything's wrong. I'm just saying that if you're conscious of calories, that would be lower in calories.
Okay.
What about the likes of burgers, barbecues are very popular as well. So you're kind of having sausages, burgers, steaks, whatever else you want to put on.
And that all can be, again, it's fun eating. I love it myself, outdoors. But again, it's a lot of salt and it can be a lot of fat. So if you're choosing, just visit your local butcher like we always did and get the high quality, low fat content.
Kind of lean mince,
yeah. And I mean, these are convenience as well. But I mean, like this says 100% chicken, this says 100% lean mince, this says 100% salmon. Whereas these have so many different more sulfates and preservatives, and you just feel better after these.
What about the bread? Is there like a better bap to kind of put it on?
Well, I think, Anthony, you can make it home, obviously, is great, but then high fibre. But I mean, enjoy it too. There's about 500 calories in a burger, cheese, and 2 baps.
Okay,
so that's fine. And I'm not here to talk about calories as such, but just be mindful that you can have up to 3,000 calories in barbecues if you're sitting there half the day having your drinks. Again, that's okay if it's every now and again, but if it's becoming the norm over the summer, and then you're not going to feel good during the summer, and you want, you know, when it come autumn, you're giving out a little bit, I think. Just be mindful, that's all it is.
And then the one thing I suppose about summer is people can feel like it's a really muggy day. You're lethargic. People aren't sleeping properly. You know, we're putting the leg outside the duvet and everyone's like, I didn't sleep last night because of the heat. Is there anything we can do to help that sleep process, to help those energy levels? Because if we're not sleeping properly, you're not as energetic.
Yeah, well, the hydration, eating of the lovely summer foods that are in season in this country, all the greens, all the berries, the quality proteins. And then if you are feeling that maybe you're not able to do that because you're so time poor, you're running around after kids or whatever, like supplements can be helpful then as well, just to help with the energy. So, I mean...
Vitamin C.
Just a bit of of water, even with some of those, like the Revive Zest. It's kind of like similar to Diorolite for kids.
Okay.
It helps with like electrolytes.
Salt and stuff,
yeah,
electrolytes
exactly. Especially if you're travelling, just good to have to hand. Digestive enzymes if you're going to new places again to help it break down the food.
Okay, because if you go on holidays and stuff like that,
it's nice. It's handy to bring it with you, and they're all in sachet form. They can be just pop it in and maybe help with.
And fish oils for people who don't like fish or whatever else.
Yeah.
It's quite important to get your omegas
I just think we think about these things during the winter and we talk about a lot of immunity at that time. But the summer, you want to have energy for all the things you like to do and just to support yourself. You don't need to be perfect. You're not talking about 10 out of 10 here at all. But there are certain decisions you make that will have an impact on your energy.
Do you take... Because vitamin D, a lot of people are very much deficient in it in Ireland. Yeah. So should you take vitamin D supplements during the summer
I'd give it a break, really. Okay. I think we're advised by the medical community as well just to have it from, I think it's October to May.
Okay.
And then that's when you need the booster because it's we're so deprived of it. But then come summer, roll up the sleeves, get outside and be safe, of course.
We need to get these back in the freezer because they're melting right now. Sinead Bradbury, nutritionist, thank you so much for joining us today. Really appreciate that.
Lucky the weekend, Sinead.
Alan, he's bringing up Galway. Alan, what's coming up tomorrow?
Keep me one of those ice creams now. Tomorrow, Glow Up star James McInerney opens up about living with Tourette syndrome. Plus, best-selling author Caroline O'Donoghue tells us about her latest page-turner. Come back to us tomorrow from 7.
Sinead was going to throw a
Why? Why is she raging?
Because she works for the Galway team. Mayo be Galway.
Right.
Bye.